Hi, I'm Laurie Wheeler. Thanks for joining me today. This is Monthly Insights for July from the InterDimensionals. So, today or this month's theme, what comes across very clearly, and this may not be different from other past times or what's coming in the future, but this is what's important for this month: to know who you are, to know who I am, to explore who I am. What is exploration? So when I think about exploration, I think about actually going out and doing something. But this is maybe more about self-exploration, your likes, your dislikes. Sometimes somebody will ask a question, well, what do you want? And you may answer, I don't know. That can happen quite often, actually, because we're really not in touch with thinking at the moment of what you really desire. So this is important for us to have and take the time for self-exploration. This is important to give ourselves the downtime to do this. And then to allow yourself to be who you are. And that's really big. Allowing yourself, giving yourself the permission. So there are the factors in self-exploration, and this is what it means to be on Earth at this present time. This is what we're learning, and this is a big factor right now. So aligning with your goals. If you haven't done that already, give yourself a little bit of time to think about what are your goals and to actually bring yourself into that and pull yourself together and think about it and then move in that momentum. So know what it's like to be truly present is another aspect. Again, this is not anything new, but this came up very strongly today, but this for this month's channeling. The being that I work with and that I channel, its name is Megalithicon, and it's been working with me for a very long time, bringing information to me. But one of the things or messages that comes across very strongly from Mega is, again, to always be truly present. So our minds can be wandering quite frequently. If you stop and just think about how often your mind wanders, you're up in the clouds, or you're thinking about something somebody said, or you have to go home and do this, or something about work. We're not really in the very moment. In the moment, bring yourself in, all the way in, all of you, in, right now. I'm right here, present, speaking to you, and my mind is not anywhere else. I'm an artist, and I'm a self-taught artist, and one of the things that I so appreciate about painting is actually, it brings you into the present moment. I am not thinking about anything else but just what I'm working on. So sometimes a hobby can actually help to bring you more into the moment. So it's taking your mind from your cluttering thoughts. And when you're out of it, you know it. You know your mind's off in what I'll say left field, okay? So it's about bringing it back. And stepping into opportunity with your capabilities is another very important factor this month that's brought to my attention. So when we're brought into an opportunity or a situation, and who are you? How do you show up in the world? What are your capabilities? I am a holistic practitioner. I work in homeopathy, and I have had numerous times this month where somebody will be mentioning that they're having this or that, or they've got a little sore throat or whatever it is, and I'll either write on a piece of paper something that I think they can take that will be very beneficial for their health, or a situation like that. That's my capability. So that for me is an invitation to share what I know, my knowledge, my specific knowledge, what I'm doing in the world and how to help people. I'm happy to help that way. So I often say, one of my very favorite quotes is, the best things come in the back door. We're looking out the front door or the front window, but oftentimes that thing that comes in that's so wonderful shows up in another way when you're not expecting it. So use those opportunities and bring your capabilities into the world. So these things that I've just mentioned to you, I want to say that there was very specific transmission in how this was brought together, and I'll explain this. So Mega sometimes uses words that are not my words. They're not a language that I would always speak. And so this, it says to me, all this information will help to traverse the hills and the valleys. And so, not traverse the hills and the valleys. So this is a high level of climbing, or involving a steep climb. That's what traverse means. And so these are some of the ideas to utilize as we're going up these steep hills, to traverse these steep hills. So I really love the words, and I try to bring the words just as they're told to me, because they are chosen very specifically to share with you. So when the opportunity comes, be present and pay attention so that you can walk into the opportunity, but also be very discerning. And this came very personally to me this month also, where listening to the subtle nuances which come in, whether this is something, this opportunity is for me to walk into or not to walk into. So it's very important to pay attention to this, as there is so much bubbling up right now, and we're moving at such a very intense speed also. So I'm going to take a moment and just tell you exactly the next few pieces of information, exactly as Mega said it to me. So this upcoming time, there is going to be an uprising. It is a part of the collective consciousness of many, and it will be like no other, and it will set some people back because they will not be expecting it. This will cause those to open their minds to that which they hadn't thought or expected. And so it's not always the happening, it's what you do with the happening that really matters. This is a part of moving more onto our path as a globe, and as the light shines in, and as we shine our light, there are more that are taking hold of this energy and creating the changes that are needed. Everything, like I said, is vibrating at such a higher and higher frequency. And all of this has to do with the work that we are in tune with, and the light that we're accepting is accelerating this movement. So when we say to ourselves, wow, time is speeding up so quickly, we're actually creating this. So if you're wondering where it's coming from, there is chaos in this uprising, as it tells me. This is a beginning of a split. Now, you may say to yourself, this is just a beginning. Well, we've been pretty split for a while. And yes, this is very true. I'll actually mention here that in 1999, I had a vision, and I could literally see the earth where it was splitting right down the Mississippi River. So there could actually be a physical splitting somewhere, but there is also a splitting within the consciousness of people globally. And this is creating a very heavy and intense turmoil. And there is much divide amongst those in our country specifically. This split is defined by legislature and those who determine the laws. So very specifically, and I know we've had some things in the news, but this is coming in very intensely for this month. So we'll have to kind of keep a pulse on what's going on out there. And so this particular split, and there may be more, but this is one, this is a catalyst that turns the earth around in sort of a way, and it brings about movement toward the light to be in more of an alignment. So it will be very interesting to see how this actually takes place. But again, keep a pulse of what's going on. You don't need to be of the world, you're in the world, and just keeping your eye on what's going on. So the opportunity time that it tells me is really now. It's a very opportune time to explore some new paths. This is why self-exploration is super important right now, to know who you are, to explore who you are, and to allow who you are. And what is coming will create the momentum. So what Mega says is allow this water to flow. You know, you ever watch water and the movement of how it ebbs and flows and changes, and it can go in all different directions. It can actually flow from down lower all the way up. It's an incredible happening to watch. So we're to be watching the flow of water and allow it to move, allow yourself to move where it does, where it brings you, where it takes you, and follow along with it. So the water brings about change that's really needed. And if you think about what the symbology of water is, it's emotion. So there's going to be some emotion in this also. The challenges are for us to overcome. These challenges bring us to a place where we've, in the collective, have been desiring to go, the opportunity. So here it is. We are going, or hopefully we're going that way as a globe. But they're to overcome, to perceive, to become stronger, to persevere through it. You know, sometimes things knock you down. It knocks me down, takes me for a loop sometimes. And I have to just be with it for a little bit and kind of collect myself and gather myself before I can get back up and get back on my feet again. So we need to persevere. We need to step and move with it. And this is where you decide and define your meaning and desires for your life in this movement. So utilize this. This is an opportunity for us. So I asked the question, well, how do we do this? Because I want to hear what is their reference. How do they describe how we should do this? And so they say, look through your heart with clarity in making your decisions. So don't come from your head. Approach life and opportunities with reverence. And that's the word that Mega used, reverence. And what that means is these are all blessings for us, so that we're to really be thankful for them and and know that they're given for us to utilize. And even when we don't really feel like it, we need to say thank you. And that's not always an easy thing to do. So you might just give it a try the next time that you find yourself in that situation. So, again, he continues, or Mega continues to say, the time is now, and changes are happening in our dimension very quickly. And this is why being clear about life is so important, and it will even move more quickly as time goes on. So using this particular time, it's helping us to determine our decisions in what is happening, or our decisions as a result of what is happening. And it's pushing us into our intuition. It's allowing, or asking us to allow ourselves to listen to the guidance. Eventually, we will not be using our practical, intelligent brain as much as we will be using our intuition. We'll be going like this to our intuition automatically. And it will be like when we need our mind to think about something, we will pull that forward. So yes, it's good to have it in balance, but they want us to be right in that intuitive capability, because it's not about going out for the answer, it's about hearing it as it comes in. So eventually, again, like I say, this is the movement where we will be in 5D. We will no longer really be using our brain capacity that much. So knowing how to use that's very important, and knowing how to discern whether it's your brain thinking it or whether it's your guidance, your intuition. Discerning this is very important, knowing where it's coming from. One way I like to say, describe how I know, is oftentimes when I bring it to you, there are words that I would never use. So I know this information is coming through the higher guidance, and I love that. That just validates for me how important it is, but how there's no question of where it's coming from. I just know, and I love that. It makes me feel very secure, and very connected, and having a relationship with what I call my best friend. I consider, and sometimes I cry when Mega talks to me, because the love, the compassion, the sense of being supported is so strong, and having that relationship gives you this opportunity to feel this, and it's a beautiful thing. Not all of the people we know support us, obviously, nor are they there all the time for us. We're human, and oftentimes we get caught up in things, or we have our own emotion. But it is such a beautiful experience to be able to rely on that sense of those that are guiding us. So knowing the difference is very important, and this means stepping out of the fear into a balanced and aligned self. This is super important. Bringing it in, you will automatically be in that place of being able to hear. So being in alignment is very important. And even in turmoil, there is, or you are capable of alignment, of being in it. It's just a direction of your intention. So when things are chaotic around you, in a moment, if you can find the moment and bring it into yourself and just ask, alignment, 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 alignment. I am in the center right at this moment. And coming through my heart for clarity, seeing through my heart for clarity. So finding the peace in the turmoil that surpasses your understanding of all of it. In other words, it surpasses your brain thinking, it surpasses the nonsense, the drama that's going on. It just surpasses, and you're in that place of peace in that moment. So we must redirect ourselves into the center of ourselves. And one way, and I think a very helpful way, is to find the tools ahead of time before you find yourself in the turmoil or chaos or in a situation. Have those tools. Know what they are. They're your go-tos, and they're different for everybody, but some are very similar for many. And I like to say that meditation is my go-to. A day without meditation is almost like a day really without sunshine. I feel like I'm not connected. There have been days, many days, that I haven't been able to meditate. Maybe I've had an early day, or I've been traveling or something, and it hasn't been so easy to do that at that moment when I want to do it. So, but I can feel it. I feel the difference, and you do too, I'm sure of it, if you are a person that meditates. Channeling is going to and listening to the guidance of whomever you're channeling. And we all channel, but you may not realize that you channel. So, and if you need a little help with that, there are people or myself can help you how to learn that. So if you're interested, I love to tone. Toning for me raises the frequency, raises my vibration, puts me in a different place. I'm just suddenly a different person than before. Sometimes talking with people who are like-minded, you may need to pick up the phone and say, hey, I've got to have a conversation because I'm so out of sorts right now. I just need to get it off my chest, and I know you've got my back, you'll support me. We all need people like this, and if you don't have them, find them, seek them out. There are people that are conscious everywhere, and so find a meetup, find a group, something where you know these people will be, and connect with them, because it's so important for us to be around other people that feel very similar to ourselves. They don't have to see everything the same way, but they have to be moving in a similar pathway. I use homeopathy. If I'm out of sorts, I take a good remedy that kind of brings me back in. Flower essences are awesome. Sometimes they're very simple. You just think what's kind of out of sorts with yourself, and you grab a little flower essence, and it can help bring you around. And I also use my lasers. I have numerous lasers, and I love them. Sometimes if I've done something or overdone it or whatever, I'll use a laser to help me do that too, and it brings me back into my center also. So if you need some help, my website is wellnesswithin.net. I will share with you just a tidbit of what I'm beginning to work on this month. I'm working with a scientist who is working with DNA and how DNA is affected by different things like color, sound, things of that nature. And so we want to see how we are affected, and I'm really looking forward to being a part of this. And when we have our conclusions together, I will definitely share this information with you, because you'll want to know also. We all have DNA. It's what we're made of, and it's our record from all our previous times. So it houses everything about our physical and our past, and so everything is recorded there. And so what can affect that, whether it be negative or positive, we want to understand more about this. So I'm really super excited about being a part of this. And then I'll just mention that I have a retreat coming in September 9th through 11th in Mount Shasta. And this is going to be a very special retreat. It's only a couple days. We will be going to a pyramid. We will be going to different, what I call portals and hotspots. We're going to be doing some shamanic journeying and some guided meditation. I will be speaking light language along with someone else that will be coming along that speaks light language also. And we will be bringing information, channeling, all different sorts of helpful and guidance for us. So what I consider is life will never be the same after this trip. So if you're interested, please get in touch with me at wellnesswithin.net. You can read about it on my website. So what we've got this month is opportunity to grow and evolve and move along with it. Don't resist it. If it's pulling you along somewhere, don't say, no, I don't want to go. Open yourself, because it may bring you into a different perspective to see things. So what I'd like to share at this moment is some food for thought, and it's a great quote, and I'm going to leave you with this. It is not how much one knows that counts. It's how well one applies the knowing. That really speaks to me. So for now, I thank you for joining me. It's been a real pleasure to be with you today, and I look forward to future time together. Thank you. Be well.